All right, welcome back to Deep Within the Man Cave. Hope everyone had a great week and everyone's doing okay. Tonight I want to talk about something I heard a little bit on a podcast. I'm definitely going to go do more research into this, and there will be another one, but it's another video. And it's projecting. So when you project something, you kind of do it. So what is projection? Projection is, say you've had a bad day and you're frustrated and you're angry and someone comes up to ask you a question. Right away they can tell that something's not right, and you might be a little gruff with them or something like that, and then you're projecting what has happened to make you have a rough day or something like that, or an incident or something like that, onto them by, being gruff with them, not, friendly or whatever, and then you're projecting your bad time or something onto them. So, and subconsciously, again, we don't know that we're actually doing this. Sometimes things set you off or trigger you, and then you like, oh, it's ruined my day. So, if you've had something happen and you're feeling annoyed or triggered or whatever, don't ignore that feeling, but recognize it. But stop, take a few big deep breaths, and if you can't deal with what it is right then and there, write things down. Write it down. What it is that bothered you and what it is that triggered you, and what you're feeling at that time, why it made you feel that, and then come back to it when you have the time. And the more you recognize these things that start to, like, things that irritate you or whatever like that, and it can be anything from being late to a meeting, or somebody coming up to talk to you when you're in a rush or something like that, and you don't have time and you don't want to talk to them, but you don't want to say, hey, look, I can't talk right now or whatever. So you're having a conversation with them, but you're not really paying attention. You're like, oh, come on, like, hurry it up, so that out. It gives them sort of the impression that, oh, wait a minute, what's up with this? Why does this person, am I boring? Am I, this guy isn't as nice as what they said, or this guy's really full of himself, and all that stuff. And you're projecting something that is causing you to have a higher level of stress or anxiety. You're projecting that onto them, and it can come off as like a negative feeling or whatnot. Now, the thing that I found was very interesting in this projecting thing was how young it can start. Now, we all know the subconscious mind is, it absorbs a lot of things, and negative and good. Now, the example I'm going to use, as a kid, our family, we weren't rich or anything like that. We had enough. We had all the things we needed. We never went without, and that kind of thing. But I remember my parents fighting about money, or being stressed about money, especially when we moved, and sort of was in the process of getting a house and all that stuff. It's tense, as one would expect. If anybody's moved, you know what a tense time that is. So yeah, and as a young kid, I was like, I could see this stress, because then, okay, I hear the word, well, we don't have enough money or something like that. And then I see how stressed my parents are or something like that. And subconsciously, I've absorbed that, thinking that you have to be stressed out about money all the time. And I mean, you don't. You don't have to stress out. But then that also leaves a negative projection about money and stuff like that. And I realized, and it's taken me like, say, 33 some years to figure out that, oh God, I don't really need to stress out that bad about money. Yeah, it's important, but as long as all my stuff is getting paid off and stuff like that, and you have all the things I need, and like no one's going without, it's okay. It's not something to worry about. Now it's just time to look forward and to make more. But that's just another like projection. So the thing that they were talking about is how young, and the things we do around our children, and how we can project negative things onto them, and then without them even realizing it in their subconscious, they develop these things too, like the example that I had. And I have two young boys, 10 and 8. This last year has been pretty rough with being separated and all this stuff, and I know a little bit about how that is, because my parents got separated, and you only see one person certain times and all this stuff. It's hard, it's stressful. You feel cheated, you feel lots of things. I felt that I wasn't worthy, and those are the things that me and my ex have talked about, and we are doing everything in our power to make sure the boys don't feel like that. But you can't, they're gonna feel what they feel. But we are very open in talking, and we do not project, or we recognize if we are projecting stuff on, at least I do. I know she's doing the same. And yeah, so one of the best ways to do it is to be open and honest. If I'm sad, I'm sad. If I gotta cry, I gotta cry, and I'm not gonna hide it from my kids. If I'm frustrated, I just say, hey, look, Dad's a little frustrated today. It's got nothing to do with you guys. Something bad happened at work, or something didn't go my way, or the computer broke or something like that. But so I'm a little frustrated, but tomorrow's a new day. We'll get it figured out. So that kind of stuff. We're not, I'm honest, I'm vulnerable. I call them out on stuff. If they're doing stuff that makes me uncomfortable or whatever, I say, hey, look, this is making me uncomfortable. When you say this, whatnot. Can you not do that? And then we talk. And we've had some really good talks about little tiny things, and not developing into bigger things, which is awesome. I'm very proud of how my children are handling everything. And yeah, so I guess the thing is just things that trigger us can make us project other things to other people. And in order to not to do that, you want to make sure you understand that, oh, okay, this is triggering me. So one of the easiest ways to do it, again, is notepad, either on your phone or just a regular old-fashioned notepad. Write it down, because hey, you could get cut off on the way to work. Don't when you get to work, write it down. How did that make you feel? What were you feeling right then? And then when you have time, look at it and like, why do I feel this way when this person cut me off or whatever like that? Like, and you sometimes realize like some of these things aren't that big of a deal, but it's just certain things that have happened subconsciously that trigger you. And when we do this, especially around our children, they can pick up on these things, and it's like a bad vibe. It's just like, oh, okay, if they're in the car with us and somebody cuts you off, and then all of a sudden you're blowing up, you know, like, oh, here we go again. You know, oh, that person cut somebody off. That person must be really mad. Or if I cut somebody off, they're going to be really mad at me. Or if somebody accidentally cuts me off when I'm driving, I have to get really mad at them. Because all these things are mirrored and they're projected. So you need to be really aware of how you're feeling at certain times, especially around your children, and projecting. You don't want to project negative stuff, but I mean, that's life, it happens. But you know, the world isn't all going to be fuzzy and peaches and smell like roses. Sometimes you get dragged in the dirt, but that's just a fact of life. But that doesn't last forever. So you have to show them that, yeah, sometimes things don't go the way you are, but it won't last forever. But you got to project the right vibes and stuff like that, because they pick up on vibes and stuff like that. I used to be really irritable. Little things would set me off, and I didn't know why. And then I figured it out, and I figured out that there was a lot of anxiety that I had, and like all these little things would trigger me, and then I'd go into a rage. And I saw it in my kids; they would started doing the same thing. And no one wants that, of course. You don't want your kids to go on a batshit crazy rage and start yelling and cursing and all this stuff. You want them to be able to handle their stuff. So for them to be able to handle it, you have to be able to handle your stuff. And once I figured everything out, excuse me, once I figured everything out and I got the help I need, you know, I'm not irritable anymore. I don't get angry. I mean, I get frustrated, but I don't lose my shit and yell at the dog or people or anything like that. And especially because I don't want my kids to do that either. And they were mirroring me. And no one wants to be angry. It's a lot of work to being angry all the time. And it's stressful. So any of these things, you know, your kids pick up on stuff. Other people pick up on stuff. Subconsciously, they're gonna, like, you know, you slam your coffee mug down at work all the time, you know, in a meeting or something like that, and you come in and you're always barking orders or something like that. You know, the first impression, their impression of you is, hey, man, this guy's a real asshole, or he's always angry, like whatever. But that's you projecting that to them, when honestly you could be one of the fuzziest, nicest person in the world. But that's just the way we project ourselves onto other people and how other people perceive us and stuff like that. So just, yeah, write stuff down, work through it, and honestly, these things will not, they might still trigger you, but then you know, like, oh, wait a minute, I got triggered. I don't need to react like that. Everything is okay and stuff like that. And the more you do this, the better you will feel, and there's less projection going on and stuff. And you can project good things, because people pick up on good stuff all the time too. But most of the time people, it's kind of almost easier to pick up on the negative than it is the positive. if that makes sense. So yeah, sometimes you gotta take a deep breath and look around and see the way you're projecting yourself, whether you realize it or not, because it is a lot of subconscious learned stuff. But you can break these habits, and people do recognize and stuff like that. So yeah, take care of each other. Make sure you're take care of yourself. Check in on your friends and family. If this has helped anything or you want to learn some more, let me know. Leave a comment on the page. Subscribe. If you don't wish to leave a comment there on the page, you can leave a comment at deepwithinthemancave@gmail.com, and I will get back to you. Until next week, have a good one. Stay safe.